Hi guys, today's video is going to be all about my favorite and least favorite notes, and I'll give you some examples of different fragrances that are kind of on my top list with the favorites, and then maybe I'll comment some of my least favorites and how they sometimes can work, although I typically don't like them. And some of them I avoid altogether. But I'm sorry, it's been a while since I filmed. Last time I've kind of got a little bit out of preparing new content. I have a boyfriend, that takes some time. We live quite far away from each other, so typically we go visit each other, and then the whole weekend goes. So it has definitely its drawbacks, meeting someone from another town. We're like 3 hours and 25 minutes away from each other on the train. I don't know if you recognize me, by the way, with this long hair. I kind of got the idea from him, because this guy, when I met him at this special dance week up north in July, he actually had extensions, like dreadlock extensions. And I thought that was so cool on him. I mean, I really thought he was like Jamaican and they were real, but he had just sort of tied them on. And I just thought, I've always wanted to have long hair, and I thought I'll just try it one time. And so they basically just tape them in, and I just really enjoy. I really haven't fixed it that much today, but when they fixed it at the salon, it looked really good. Seriously, I feel 10 years younger. But it is definitely a hassle, because you can kind of feel the tape, and it's uncomfortable to sleep, and it takes a while to wash your hair, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. It's like the nails. I think I talked about that in a previous video. I tried the fake nails, and I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't button my shirt, but this is a little easier than that. But not only is it expensive, it's just not convenient to have all this hair. So I don't know how long time I'll put up with it. These extensions, they'll last me like a year, but you have to go every 7th week and move them upwards. And it's pricey. So we'll see. But it was kind of a once in a lifetime thing. I just wanted to try it. And I really am enjoying hair. Just being able to put my hair up like in a ponytail that actually has a decent, like a pretty fat ponytail. I've never, ever had that in my whole life. It's really fun. It's just fun. Anyway, I have listed now I tried to make a list of 10, but I just couldn't. But I'll just kind of tell you which ones my favorite ones are. We can start there. Iris or Orris butter, definitely on my top list. Galbanum, which is like a green note. I think it's something that runs out of the stems of branches. It's kind of I think it's a resin, actually. Labdanum. Birch tar is something that I've really noticed that when I find that in fragrance, I really like. It adds a little bit of smokiness, but not too much, and not in a tobacco kind of way, but in a different kind of way, like in an ambery balsamic kind of way, and I really, really appreciate that. Myrrh, heliotrope, orange blossom, oud, cacao, patchouli, tonka, ambergris, any kind of balsamic note, and ylang ylang. That's kind of but I mean, there are definitely more probably that I haven't thought of right now, like any kind of powdery note. I love powdery notes, and powder can come from heliotrope and iris that are on the list, but they could also be from violet or from other purple flowers, or maybe mimosa, etc. And mimosa is actually a note that has kind of crept up on me a little bit. On my least favorite list is number 1 is Akigala wood. Like, I will not buy a fragrance that has this note. And I think my fragrance collection of at least a full bottles are free from this note. I think so. Including all my original stuff. I do have some decants with Akigala wood, I think, somewhere. I'm not sure if it might work in a fragrance here or there. Cashmeron has been kind of I have to watch out when I see this note. Sometimes I don't like it. There's something about it going too sweet in the wrong kind of way. But I can't quite identify this note. I've just found that many fragrances that have this, I tend to not like after a while. So I'm thinking maybe Cashmeron, or cashmere wood, as it's sometimes also called, is something. What was I going to say about it? Is it something that gives a good first impression? But then something about it starts to annoy me a little bit. I'm not sure. Lily of the Valley can be difficult. Rose can be difficult, but also there is rose probably in, I have a whole bunch, I have a lineup of bottles here, and rose is in a lot of them. Immortelle is a note in one of my favorite fragrances, but I typically think it's a difficult note. So it's definitely my least favorite. And then there's this special smell that is not really a note, but I have myself called it fake butter, or like festival popcorn kind of note. Or you could just call it like amusement park. It smells like the type of butter you would put on popcorn at the movies. It doesn't smell like real butter, and it doesn't taste like real butter either, but it's kind of like trying to be real butter. I do have one fragrance with that note that I do like, but I'm always a little bit like, wait a minute, this is this festival popcorn kind of, or amusement park popcorn kind of smell. And then I'm careful to get anything there with that in it. Cloves also are quite difficult for me. Cloves actually have ruined a fragrance or two, I think, like Heaven Can Wait from Frederic Malle. But then I was listening to Eloise. I don't know if you know her channel. She just did a ranked list of Serge Lutens fragrances, and she said that cloves there are used to like illuminate certain fragrances. Like I think she spoke about, what was the fragrance she was talking? I think I even took some notes on her last video. Go catch that video if you're into Serge Lutens. I thought it was really interesting that her top fragrances from there. She's got 19 fragrances from Serge Lutens in her collection. And the top 8 are fragrances that I don't think I would like. So we have really different taste. She likes jasmine and I really don't. Oh, okay, this is what she said. The fragrance à la nuit, it's sold in a bell jar. It's a jasmine fragrance. And she said it has a hint of clove, which illuminates the fragrance. So I'm not quite sure, but she says that Serge Lutens uses a lot of clove. And maybe that's why I haven't liked that many Serge Lutens fragrances. Or there have been pretty many that have passed by my nose that I've gotten rid of. I've had samples or I've had decants like Chergui, which is really famous, Arabi, the one called Gingembre, something like tea with ginger, some kind of fragrance. What else did I have? Nuit de Cellophane. I didn't see these. I've kind of like passed along as I've gone along. So I don't. Maybe it is cloves. I'm not sure. Dried fruit, I have to watch out with. Banana, peach, things that are too fruity, and also cinnamon. Cinnamon is not. I mean, a hint of cinnamon is fine. That just kind of like sweetens it up or gives it a better base. But if you can tell that it's cinnamon, it's really strong, and sometimes it has a tendency to take over a fragrance. Okay, where to start? Maybe I'll start by, okay, I just wanted to also mention some fragrances that I've really been enjoying lately that might not actually be, this one has notes that are on that neither are on my favorite list or least favorite. And it's a quite new fragrance to my collection. I got this as like a tester bottle with a bigger purchase of fragrances that I made last summer. And it's called 1992 Purple Night. And it is a tuberose fragrance, like a smoky, suede tuberose fragrance that is, like when you smell it like this, it's difficult. It's like the tuberose is super prominent and it's really, really sweet. But when you put it on and you wear it like for a half hour, then it just sticks with you the rest of the day, and it has a great sillage and it's super satisfying. And it's just, I have enjoyed this fragrance so much and I can't wait to wear it again. I mean, that's how good it is. It does stain clothes, so watch out. I mean, it will stain clothes because it goes on very red on the skin. I wasn't sure I was going to like this fragrance, but it really has not disappointed. Even though it has none of my favorite notes. That was that. Then I also recently purchased, this was a little bit of a disappointment. Also, me and my friend had like a perfume sitting where we did some sniffing, and I had asked her to bring her Serge Lutens and her L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrances, and also a fragrance called Rosarium from a house called Angela di Ciampagna. And anyway, one of the fragrances that I apparently liked in the sitting was this fragrance called La Chasse au Papillon. It's a tuberose fragrance, but when I received it, I realized it's really kind of a light floral fragrance, and I'm a little disappointed that it is not more prominently tuberose, because I don't have much tuberose in my collection. I mean, it's there. It's definitely there. But it also has like probably jasmine. I think there's linden blossom. There might be. It's just very, very light. It's a light, summery, beautiful, yet a little bit boring fragrance. And I regret buying it, but I got it for a really good price on our version of eBay. But I think I'm going to sell it because it's just not doing it for me. I don't think I'll reach for this. Summer's over. We have a very short summer. And I wear my fragrances year round. I'm not a real like, oh, now it's summer, I'm bringing out these fragrances. I wear what I feel like. So that was that. I'm going to see if I had something more to show you before I jump into the, jump into the list. Okay, Iris Orris, for a reason, there's a reason why I thought of this first of all among favorite notes. And when I started to get to know Iris, in the beginning I was like, I don't know, it's dry, it's kind of papery, I wasn't sure. And I started out with Iris Dragées. I have a hard time for these French R's, but I think an American would say Iris Dragées, which is completely wrong, from Lancôme. I was just watching this couple that was going through, you know, how you really should pronounce these French perfume house names. Anyway, and in that fragrance, the iris is kind of like softened up by like brown sugar and something powdery and just really, really easy to like. And that kind of opened the doors to really enjoying iris fragrances. And I have a whole bunch of iris fragrances. And I also mentioned that I like galbanum. So this is a fragrance where galbanum is combined with iris, among other notes. It is Chanel number 19 Poudré. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I just love this so much. It just has it all. It's green and it has iris. It's powdery. It's a little bit sweet. I just love it. There might be a hint of tonka in the base. I think it has vetiver in the base. It's pretty close to Infusion Iris from Prada, which is also a really good fragrance, the EDP. And then I think I've already talked about this because it's kind of a recent purchase. Serge Lutens, I do like some of their stuff. It's Clair de Musc. And this also has a beautiful iris note. Iris and musk. So, so beautiful. I mean, I don't even regret buying 100 milliliter of this one because I just think it's incredible. I love this. And everybody loves this. Everyone that have been able to try it, including my new boyfriend, he loves this too, both on himself and on me. So that's a great, great fragrance. And then another fragrance from the same house. I never said what the house was called. It's from Les Bains Guerbois. And this is from the same house, and it is called 1979 New Wave. It is a minty iris. And apart from the longevity being pretty bad and the sillage being not great either, it's a beautiful minty iris. And mint is one of those notes. It's on neither of the lists. It's neither a favorite or a non-favorite, but it really is refreshing, I'll have to say. And it brings me to think of this other fragrance that DjHenné 22 from Pierre Guillaume also has mint in it. And I've kind of been on the hunt for a lavender gourmand lately. I think that I've ranted about this in quite a few videos. I just realized I had it all along in my collection, and it's this one. Because this one has like cacao, myrrh, lavender, syringa, which is like some white floral that's quite potent. It has some mint. It's refreshing. I think maybe there's tonka. I'm not exactly sure of the notes, but it is a beautiful, refreshing, semi-gourmand. Maybe even a gourmand, but it's a fresh gourmand. Why did I start talking about this? Oh, it was because of the mint. I have mint in several fragrances. Orangea also has mint. I mean, I have several, and it's a note that I do appreciate. Okay, next on the list is birch tar. And did I miss bringing out Le Lion? I think, oh, here it is. Here it is. This is a really nice, this is the best, I think, from the exclusive collection from Chanel. And I will definitely repurchase this when I run out. This has a beautiful labdanum note and a beautiful birch tar note. Even though birch tar is not listed, it has that quality. I think that this birch tar, it was something, I think they used to make leather wearable, like when you made gloves, and therefore it's kind of like you find it in leather fragrances, and this is quite leathery. I don't think leather's listed here either, but beautiful. And it has a nice patchouli note as well, and patchouli is also on my list, which brings me to some of my favorite patchoulis I just brought out. Patchouly from Profumun Roma. It's a really rich, nice chocolatey fragrance with, it almost, I get a minty feeling with this one. It's just beautiful. I think the bottles are terrible, and this one is kind of leaking around the cap here. It gets all wet, and I think that's really bad. At this price, they should do better, but it's a great fragrance. Arbolé from Hiram Green, which is a beautiful patchouli, powdery patchouli, tonka, vanilla, maybe some kind of wood, sandalwood maybe. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this one dries down so beautifully. I just love it so much. And then I also brought out, cacao is on my list as well. I brought this out, Cacao Porcelana, which is patchouli and cacao fragrance that features also the note of immortelle. That's on my least favorite list. So it works sometimes, for sure. This is, I should wear this more often because this is such an incredible fragrance. The spray on these is amazing. I have to wear this more often. It has such a beautiful cacao note. Patchouli cacao. Yeah, the reason I don't wear it that much is that I actually was really influenced by another person who talked about it and said that it smelled like poop. And that was like, I can't take that risk, so I don't wear it out. But I should wear it home on my own, or I should just, wear it out when I'm going to go out walking, or I wouldn't wear it like on a first date. Now I'm not going on dates, but I wouldn't wear it like maybe out to a club or dancing. Absolutely not, because it's a difficult fragrance, I would say. It's really, really earthy, but I do love it a lot. Then tonka was on my list of favorite fragrances, and I think there's tonka in both of these, and I also have Oud on my list. This has both. This is Sovereign from Le Galion, and this is like an Oud, rose, myrrh, tonka. It also has iris. I don't know if I would be able to tell that but there's a powderiness to it. Maybe it's coming from the iris. This is a beautiful fragrance. My boyfriend loves this. His name is Matthias, by the way. My son asked for a refill of this. It's my oldest son. I have a son who's going to be, wait a minute, how old is he? He's going to be 24 in October. And he lives in southern Sweden. He doesn't, so he doesn't have my collection available to him, but he got a $5 of this, and he said he wanted a refill. So I gave him a refill. So it's a great fragrance, Sovereign. And this is the perfume concentration. I think it only comes in an EDP now. And then there's Hasu no Hana, which is a nice chypre fragrance. This one has a bunch of florals. Ylang Ylang is also on my, I think Ylang Ylang is in here. What is so beautiful about this one? I almost had to find the notes in here. Let's see. Hasu no Hana. I just looked it up, but I forgot what makes it so incredible. I'm not sure. It's such a good fragrance. I can't remember when I wore it last, but it's one of those fragrances you can, it's a people pleaser. You should put it on a while before you leave the house though, because it's quite strong and it does project, and it stays on. Let's see here if I can find it. Oh God, I love this fragrance. Let's see if I should have prepared this, of course. But Hasu no Hana, the only thing about this fragrance is that it's quite pricey. It's like $300 for 50 ml, but still I don't regret buying it because I just think it's so worth it. I don't know if I would buy like another. I also have a decant of Full Nana, and that one has tonka. I think this one has also like some patchouli and tonka, and I don't know if I can find it. I've been trying so many fragrances this year. As I'm going along here in my notes, because like every morning or every day, I write down the notes of a few fragrances that I've been wearing. And it strikes me now, but I've tried fragrances from so many houses. And a lot of it has been really either bad or boring. Like, I've already smelled this. This is nothing interesting. Like, I tried, like, all the Tio Cabanel fragrances. Nothing really excited me there. I've tried the Lorenzo Passaglia fragrances. I got rid of them all. They're just too loud. They just are not something that I would feel like wearing. Oh, here was a good one. Elop from Soradora. That's like an osmanthus fragrance with sesame. And it's not, even though it has like roasted apricot and apple tea and notes that I really don't gravitate towards, that is a really good fragrance. Elop from Soradora. But I guess I've reached the point now where like new things don't, I need more to get impressed, I think. I think that's it. Anyway, okay, let's go back to the list of my favorite. I think we've been through my favorite now. No, ambergris is on there too. And I only have one fragrance that is like a straight up prominent ambergris fragrance, and it is this one called Escale en Indonésie. And I think it's combined here with like cedar wood and a few more notes, musk, I think too. This is so special. Although I'll have to admit, I like never wear it. It feels a little bit just like base notes. I'm kind of recovering after a cold. That's why I should have had a glass of water next to me right now. I should have sprayed this a while ago. It's weird. I'm not getting what I normally get from it. I think I have to wait for the dry down. But they use real ambergris, and it is a beautiful fragrance. And it's really kind of low key, but it does last a long time on the skin. But it stays quite close to the skin, even though it's long lasting. Okay, I think here's some other like galbanum fragrances. Capri from 1969 has a great note of galbanum in here, and a bunch of different like orange notes, like sweet orange, I think there's bitter orange, mandarin leaves, grapefruit. Grapefruit I usually don't like. That should have been on my least liked list, but it works. It works if it's not too strong. This is beautiful. I can smell that galbanum in there. It has a little bit of greenness, but not too much. And I'm pretty sure Safari from Ralph Lauren, which is my old signature scent, has galbanum. It's so, so pretty. And the new formula is actually quite close to the vintage. I know people that say otherwise, but I think they're quite close. This has a little more depth to it. This is a vintage bottle that I've hunted down. Beautiful, beautiful. Lots of florals in there as well, and probably patchouli. Among my Oud Satin Mood, the X-ray version from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is just beautiful. Rose, violet, oud, vanilla for sure. It's just, this is a masterpiece. But I wear it very, very seldom. It's so heavy. It's really, really heavy. Patchouly, I'm not sure, is in there. Probably, I would guess. Why did I bring this one out? Let's see. Overture by Xerjoff. Oh, yes, now I remember. I brought it out as an example of a fragrance where I don't like it because it has too much cinnamon. I don't like the cinnamon in here. It takes over. Or there's something that clashes here. I think it's like fig leaf or something that clashes with sweet notes. Maybe it's the cinnamon and fig together. I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't like it. I'm going to get rid of it. But I've been trying today to shine a light through it to see how much is left, but I'm pretty sure I have this much left and that I can maybe swap it with somebody. I brought out this Unda Maris 8 from Filippo Sorcinelli as a great, I mean, this one has ambergris, I think, and some like other sea-like notes. It's really an interesting amber and marine fragrance. I think there's probably myrrh in here, probably opoponax or some kind of incense note as well. Highly recommend to try, but not to buy, because it's too odd. And then there's Fauni. Oh, this is the one, the fragrance I mentioned called Rosarium is from this house. And they both have kind of a bubblegummy kind of quality to them. But that one's more incensey, and this one is more floral. This has all kinds of floral notes. It's a little bit powdery. It's a little bit, and why did I bring it out? I think it was because maybe it's the ylang ylang or something. Tonka. I can't remember why I brought it out. I'm pretty sure it has several of my favorite notes in there. Then this is the fragrance that I know has cinnamon. It's called Empire des Indes from Oriza El Legrand. And I've been in touch with it because I actually broke out from wearing this fragrance one time or last summer. And I wrote to them, and I thought maybe, that they wanted to, they would be happy to find out, and they would tell me to send the bottle to them, and they would send me a new one because they knew about this problem. But they told me that I shouldn't spray on skin. Like, everyone knows that. I'm like, what? But they did offer for me to replace it or like get another bottle instead. But I don't think I will, because I kind of got a reaction from my inner elbow, and now I try to spray it where the skin is a little bit thicker and a little bit careful, and maybe try to wear it a little bit more on clothes, because I really love this fragrance. But it does remind me of something I already have, Bengal Rouge, which is a really nice myrrh fragrance. I brought it up since myrrh was on my list. And I mean, I like any kind of balsamic notes, and these both fit that description. They're both kind of a little bit honey-like, and honey's not on my favorite list. It works sometimes and sometimes not. But I'm not sure why I prefer this one. It's just better. Maybe it's because the honey is so turned up here. It's amped up. Maybe it's a little bit more animalic. Bengal Rouge from Papillon. I've decided to keep them both for now, but start paying attention to the differences and see, do I really need them both? My fragrance collection is now increased, and I think it's 57 full bottles, which is way too much. I want to get down to like 50 at least. 45, 50 I think is a good number. What do I have here? Oh, I forgot about this one. Woody Mood. It's a Bertrand de Chafour creation from Olfactive Studio. And this one was beautiful on my boyfriend. He wore it out dancing when he was here last weekend. He's also a dancer. I think I mentioned that. But this has like really like woody qualities, but there's also that little hint of cacao and spices. And I think it has like sequoia, like redwoods. It's beautiful. It's very earthy. A little bit I can feel that this one is like all base notes. But that doesn't mean that it's not a beautiful fragrance, but a part of me kind of wants to add something on the top. Maybe I would combine this with like Iris Prima or something, or Cuir d'Orient from Sous le Manteau, which is a really beautiful vanilla. And together they might become interesting, because those two fragrances that I mentioned now, Cuir d'Orient and Iris Prima, are a little boring to my nose. But with this, maybe that's a good combo. Let's see what else I got out here. I think I brought Private Collection from Estee Lauder out for because of the green notes. I'm pretty sure this has both petitgrain and galbanum. It also has a little bit of that quality, like when you walk into a flower shop, and it kind of has a wetness to it. It's not watery like beige from Chanel. It's much more vintage. It's like pretty intense floral, but it's fresh with a lot of top notes. And it dries down beautifully on the skin. I'm just so happy to have this fragrance. Pay attention to, this is not the same fragrance as Eau de Private Collection, although they look exactly the same. The bottle is exactly the same. The box, however, looks almost exactly the same, but if you look closely, the new one says Eau de Private Collection, and the old one says Private Collection. So don't put extra money, at least, into buying an Eau de Private Collection. That one's on the market. You can get that one for a quite decent price, but don't pay any like vintage prices for it, thinking that it's the vintage one, because they are quite different. The newer one is much lighter. It's not as green. It's not as vintagey. It's pretty different. So just bear that in mind. Okay, I just want to say want to say a few things about. Oh yes, I have one more fragrance here, and that was about the fake popcorn smell. I'll have to say this fragrance called Salt Caramel from Shea and Blue. It's a London-based company. It's quite inexpensive. The first thing that hits you when you smell the top is definitely that festival popcorn or fake butter note. It's not listed, I'm pretty sure, but This one dries down on the skin really nicely. And I have very much enjoyed wearing it. I've only worn it like once or twice, but I really enjoyed wearing it when I wore it. And I don't feel like getting rid of it because it doesn't smell like anything else in my collection. It doesn't smell like my other gourmands. I mean, I don't really have so many straight up gourmands. Among my gourmands, I consider like Oud Satin Mood. Did I even say the name? Oud Satin Mood, Blanche Bête. Other people might argue that it's a floral musk or a milky something fragrance, but for me, it's a gourmand. And I also have a fragrance called Ylang Ylang from Frank Boclet. Speaking of Ylang Ylang, which is on the favorite list, I put that on last week going out, and it was the first time I gave it a full wearing. And then I went out and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I wearing? I had forgotten what I had put on. I'd completely forgotten. I didn't recognize the smell. And I thought, was it a sample? Was it a decant? Was it from some discovery set? What is this? This is so, so beautiful. And then I figured out, because it was the day where Claire came to my house and we had that sitting with the Serge Lutens and L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrances. So I had them in a special bag that I had carried downstairs. So I could at least, look among them. What was it I sprayed on? And then I realized it was Ylang Ylang from Frank Boclet. And I mean, already when I bought it, I knew it was like a coffee shop fragrance, kind of. It didn't smell like Ylang Ylang at all to me. But when I wore it now, I realized it was more like a powdery semi-gourmand, and it has an incredible sillage, and it's super satisfying and comforting to wear. I could feel my fragrance like the rest of the day. I really, really liked how it wore off the skin, because I do think this is almost as important as the smell itself, that it gives a good wearing experience. Like the one I just got, La Chasse au Papillon. This just is not doing it for me. It's like you put it on, I have to kind of hunt for it. Where did it go? Is it there at all? No, I'm disappointed. Whereas this 1992 Purple Night went the other way. Like I was like really hesitant and a little doubtful, like smelling the top. And then I wore it and it was just so satisfying. So I think I like fragrances that are quite strong over like light, watery fragrances. Because I want them to give me that experience of like, I am wearing perfume and I can smell myself. It does make a big, big difference. And before I leave off, I'm going to tell you about just a few fragrances that I've worn lately. One of them is April Aromatics Rose L'Orange. And I'm not a typical rose fan, and especially not with citrus, but with orange. I'm not sure exactly what orange notes are in that fragrance. Maybe like orange blossom, maybe something like orange rind. I'm not sure, but that fragrance was really powdery on the skin, and the rose in there with these orangey notes, it was just incredible. It gave kind of the same wearing experience as Ylang Ylang from Frank Boclet, like really, really satisfying. So I just thought I would mention that. Beware of the price though. Her fragrances are most of them are really, really good, but they're about, I think they're about €170 for 30 milliliter, which is really expensive to me. But it was a really, really great wear. And then I've also bought 4 vintage decants now in the last week. I got Cinema from YSL. I've got Cristobal from Balenciaga, Obsession from Calvin Klein, and Classic from Jean Paul Gaultier. This classic one, when it first came out, it was only called Jean Paul Gaultier EDP, and I had a bottle. I had probably several bottles, and I remember it as being really, really sweet. But now I've gotten a bottle, a decant of the EDT vintage version. And the bottle's like from 2014 or something like that, so it's not vintage. It wasn't like, back when I wore it, I think that was like in the 90s or something like that. Maybe they're a little different because I didn't quite recognize it. I actually preferred this one, the EDT, than the EDP that I had, that I thought was slightly too sweet. And then I wore Obsession, which really brought me back. And that has a beautiful smoky vanilla undertone that is quite unique. And I don't know if anything like that is on the market today quite smells like it. It's almost masculine leaning, I'm talking about obsession that is marketed towards women, but I still feel that like that is, I would have guessed that was in the men's section among the designers for sure. So that one I'm looking forward to wearing again. And my fragrance of today, earlier today, was Cristobal from Balenciaga. A completely new experience to me. Such a beautiful fragrance. Really hard to get a hold of. Long time discontinued fragrance. And I'm not sure if, I don't think it even, like they don't even have a new formula on the market. I don't think. And I think this came out like in the 93 or a long time ago anyway. And I have been very much enjoying it, but I did have to spray a lot to get that right effect. It did not project like many of my, I mean, there was no way it projected like 1992 Purple Night or like Safari or Hasu Hana or Arbolé. What else projects really well here? I mean, this Cheyenne Blue Salt Caramel fragrance projects well. Private Collection projects well. My Empire des Indes projects really well. Bengal Rouge, incredible projection and sillage. Longevity and sillage. So, but this Cristobal is just beautiful, and I'm enjoying being able to try someone else's vintage fragrances. Anyway, let's see if I covered all my hate notes. Oh, okay. So these dried fruits or really ripe fruit, I have a hard time for. So I always kind of watch out when I see these notes. There are like some fragrances I do find a little bit too foody. Like if there's dried fruit in combination with like cupboard spices, like nutmeg and cloves and cinnamon and cardamom and all that kind of stuff, I sometimes find that they're just too foody. Like Treillis from Nila Vermeer Creations. By the way, that one I wore, or Ashoka from that house, I wore this week, and that I only have this much left from a decant. I just love that fragrance so much. But it's expensive, and they want extra for postage, and it's just not going to happen this year. And I'm going to make these my final words. You cannot own every single fragrance. It's just not possible. You just enjoy what you have. And this is the same for anything, for clothes, for jewelry, for whatever. You can never read all the books in the world either, that we have to choose. And it does sometimes hurt to have to choose, right? Okay, guys, that'll be those will be my parting words. See you in the next video.